truly before now, I didn't really know what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use the Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be able to communicate.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
Welcome, everyone, to the Power Plus Mouth Guard bEast from the East show. It's week 4, guys, already here in NetSN country. We've got Mr. Red Zone, Kyle Owens, with us. We've got Vince. We've got CM. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Can you already believe it's week 4? We're going to talk about week 4 already. It seems like just yesterday we started the season.
It goes by fast.
It was yesterday.
Well,
we went back to the
real
future.
fast.
I'll say last week, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like a rough week last week. It was in the pick'em contest. I mean, we had no one get perfect 10 out of 10. There was some upsets last week, and it was interesting picks. But we've got some good ones to talk about today for week 4. So let's go for it. Let's talk picks. Game 1 of the pick'em this week, Tatum West Russ, guys. I look at this matchup and I see a Tatum team that's basically scheduled has been brutal for them. They got their first win last week. But they lost to Dangerfield, which we know how good Dangerfield is. They also lost to Center, gave up a lot of points, but we know how potent Center is. And then you got West Rusk. They were 2-1. They lost to Malakoff. We know Malakoff is really good. But they beat Sabine, which Sabine's having a pretty good season. And then they also beat Mineola, which I think Mineola may be a little down. They've lost to, had Dawson Pendergrass playing for Baylor now as he got his first touches the other night. But in this one, I see two teams that I think it should be a good matchup. But I'm going to lean towards what I think Tatum is. I think West Rusk has taken a step back this year. They lost a lot of guys off that team. I think Tatum is going to have a little too much for him this week. So I'm Tatum. Who you guys got?
I think I'm going back and forth on this one. I'm looking up stuff and I'm trying to make a decision and go 10-0 this week. But this is a difficult one. It's a tough one to start with. I think I've seen West Rusk play in years past. I know they probably look a little different this year under Coach Mata, but not too much different because he was the OC for the past few years. So Tatum, they're 0-2, but like you said, they've lost to two really good teams. West Rusk, their one loss is to a really good team, Malakoff. So you pick Tatum. I'm going West Rusk. Give me the Raiders.
Okay.
We had this Tatum argument last year about all the losses they take. How'd
that turn out for you, Vince, last year?
I did pick against them. It did not work in my favor, but man, how long am I gonna hold them to that? Like, I can't keep saying that they a good team and they keep taking L's. Like, God, my gut is telling me to go with West Rusk.
Follow your gut, Vince.
Now they did pick up their first win. They did pick up their first win this past.
It's just that Tyler Water.
It's against they beat
Tyler.
They beat Pittsburgh.
The Tyler Water.
They beat Pittsburgh this week.
I thought that game got canceled.
I have it 13-0 final.
So they probably stopped it. Is what they probably did.
Yeah.
And just called it.
Now Pittsburgh, what are they 482, I think. So that's a bigger team. So
I'm gonna go with West Rusk. If they lose this game, I'm not picking against Tatum.
I'm going
to tell you that right now.
And you're going against me. You know how that works, Vince. It doesn't work well for you.
Vince, I'm going 10-0 this week.
Hey, it's gonna work in my favor today.
Oh wait, Corey, everyone's going 10-0 this week. You got Tatum, Corey? Oh.
I'm picking Tatum. They're not gonna get beat by West Rusk. Y'all tripping. Tatum's at least gonna win by 21. They're gonna win by 21.
Wow, that's.
Wow, why you do? Okay, all right, that's fine. Right. I ain't gonna argue.
You're not getting the schedule they played. You played up 2 classifications, and then down 1. Or stared at the classification. Dangerfield's I'm gonna give them their salt. I give them a lot of credit. You know what I'm saying? Pittsburgh's decent. West Rusk, Pittsburgh's decent. Center is just they put up 80. That's a basketball score. You know what I'm saying? Dangerfield, that's tough. That's a tough loss. I'm measuring by their opponents.
But you didn't think Dangerfield was that good.
No, I said Dangerfield's gonna make a comeback. I didn't say Dangerfield wasn't that good. I said Dangerfield's gonna make a comeback. We talked about that week 1. I remember Jeremy was saying that they were okay with what's going on in Dangerfield. They lost to Timpson. I picked Timpson. I picked Dangerfield to win last week. Well, it's okay. But no, I'm picking Tatum.
I think West Rusk finna drop 50. I think they're gonna drop 50 on them.
Okay, I'm writing this down.
No, don't write that down. I'm just talking now.
Vince, you need to write down. You need to write down that Corey said that Tatum was going to win by 21. You write that down.
You don't have to write that down. It's on her. It's on her.
I want to see what
it's in the Twitter sphere. It's in the Twitter sphere.
That's good stuff.
All
right.
Y'all was playing Bullets last week when Pine Tree almost beat Kilgore. I know you.
Almost. Here goes back that theory again. Kyle, you want to remind him about that theory?
Oh, God.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Corey.
The the game got canceled, and then they had to play it on Saturday, so the momentum was lost.
Oh,
Man, excuses. Sound like an excuse to me.
okay. All right.
You know, excuse me, tell me what happened. You know what it is.
Were you there? I didn't see it. I wasn't there, so maybe you saw something different.
I was watching some of the games. I was watching the same Pine Tree team I was watching the last couple of weeks.
Pine Tree.
Okay. All right. Well, that just shows that how close this game we think is. Split here, first pick.
Okay.
Next one up is Atlanta Liberty Ilo. Man, it's going to be some athletes on the field in this one. Kind of a Northeast Texas feel to it. I know Eddie and company will at least they'll have a trouble picking this one. You know, they usually like to pick their Northeast Texas people, and both of these teams from up there. So should be interesting. You've got Atlanta. They beat Legion Fields and Redwater, lost to New Boston, which I was kind of surprised they lost last week, honestly. Liberty Ilo's had a tough slate of it right now. They haven't won a game yet. They lost to Henderson and Paris, which maybe Paris is good. They almost beat Gilmer. I'm going with Atlanta here, guys. I think the Rabbits are gonna run wild on Liberty Ilo and get the win in this one.
I'm gonna make it real easy for you. Atlanta.
Okay.
Why? They're the better team.
Okay.
Next.
All right. Vince is thinking about it.
I'm thinking. I'm trying to imagine how Liberty Ilo is gonna win this game.
You're gonna be imagining for a long time.
I think Atlanta is good.
Just keep picking against the event. See how we'll see Atlanta here in a few weeks when they come to town and play Brookhill. So we hadn't seen them yet.
The Atlanta game was played on Saturday, so you know how Saturday games are. So
here you go now.
And they only lost.
Now you sound like Corey.
I'm just saying, when you used to Friday night, you get up on. It's fun at first, but man, you are conditioned for Friday night. I'm not. Saturday is just like, okay, we're supposed to play a game. Let's do it. And they only lost by 9. I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I'm gonna stick with Atlanta. I'm gonna stick with Atlanta.
All right, Corey.
Corey finna pick.
Liberty Ilo will get this dub. Like they did last year. They barely snuck it out. Last year. Listen, you shake your head out. You want Liberty Ilo's played a tougher schedule thus far. Right? They played a tougher schedule thus far. If it was one game that coach circled thus far, is this game. He was like, you know what? We may be 0-3.
So
we can go 1 we can go 1-3 and continue because we should be able to compete with Atlanta.
Corey, tell me how.
I don't care what they've done this for. Just Liberty Ilo is going to beat Atlanta. I want to hear what they've done thus far.
I'm just asking you how can you say that their schedule's tough?
Now hold on, because
Paris is not better than Redwater or Legion Fields.
And Paris almost
Mount
beat
Pleasant
Gilmer.
is not better than Legion Fields and Redwater.
Paris scared Gilmer this past week.
Mount Pleasant is two classifications over both of those two schools in Atlanta play.
I thought the classifications didn't matter to you, Corey.
Here we go again.
It's two
classifications over. Listen, there's no big deal. Okay, we're not going to go with this.
Come on.
We're not going with
this. I think Paris is a good team, though. I give you the Henderson game, but I think Paris is better than. Well, they definitely better than what I thought they were. So, and then Mount Pleasant, they kept up with them.
I mean, Atlanta played who was on their schedule, and they drummed the Legion Fields 51-6. They beat Redwater 68-38. I mean, the New Boston game was a weird.
I can see where Corey's coming from, though.
No. You ain't gotta see. You ain't gotta see it. No.
I just.
You see it. You ain't gotta see it at all.
I can see where you're coming from. I'm gonna stay safe, though. I'm gonna stay safe.
I can see where Corey's coming from, but I have to get my binoculars because he's way far down that list on the list.
It's not inconceivable. Vince, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is not inconceivable.
It might happen.
Liberty Island has played a tougher schedule. It's played a tougher schedule than Atlanta. That's all I'm saying. They've played a tougher schedule than Atlanta. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I ain't gonna compare the schedule.
The quality of opponent is tougher.
Okay. The Paris thing is where I'm
they lost 30-0. It's not like it was close. It was 30-0.
Man, look what Paris did to Gilmer, man.
Look what they did to Gilmer. They took him to the edge, but still lost.
They did, but I know what Kyle finna say.
Okay, Vince, let's do it this way. So Gilmer had the game the week before in their hands, and Kilgore kicks a field goal to win, and so they're coming off of that emotional up and down.
And you thinking they supposed to stump Paris, right? That's what I was thinking.
I think they came out let last week interfere with some, and they didn't give their whole effort. From what I've seen, I've seen.
I don't know a lot about Redwater.
Redwater had a big win early in the year, but they've kind of floundered. They just lost to Winona, so let's pump the brakes on Redwater.
You know what? Thank you for proving my point, Kyle. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for proving my other point.
I'm here for you, buddy.
I'm gonna change my pick, man. I'm going with Liberty Island. I'm changing my pick. Switch that up for me.
Okay.
Redwater beat Wascom in game 1,
Corey,
but
you better be
Wascom
right.
also just lost to Sabine. So Wascom's probably not as good as they were.
You better be right, Corey. I'm writing this down so I don't forget that I switched.
Oh, yeah. Right. I need to write mine down so I can make sure I do the same picks.
Yeah.
All right. So, game 3. Center Dangerfield, guys. Man, this is a juicy matchup right here. Center coming off of a close loss. They went across the border to Louisiana, lost to North DeSoto. And then, of course, Dangerfield also lost a close one to Timpson. And the Terry Bussey drive at the end of the game where he came in and did his thing. I'm going with Center here. I just think they're a really good team. They played a tough opponent last week. Coach Meeks talked about, the opponent that they had was going to be a tough one on their schedule with North DeSoto. I know Dangerfield's good. Center's just got more players, more bodies, and I think that's going to be a factor here in this one. And I'm going to take Center.
Yeah, I'm
going these teams.
I'm taking.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's a DMX show over here. It's a Rough Riders anthem down in Center. Is what we got going on. So
X gonna give it to you.
I'm gonna take the Rough Riders. So I just think I don't know, and maybe Eddie will tell us on Wednesday some more information. I don't know the status of Chase Johnson for Dangerfield. I don't think he played last week against Timpson. I didn't in any of the highlights I saw. I didn't see him. So I don't think he played last week. So it's going to be interesting to see his health going forward. But first off, just praise God, this man's alive. This kid's alive.
The pictures that were out there, it was just I mean, to be able to walk, even just the fact that he was alive, but then the fact that he actually walked away from the accident. I mean, that's just a miracle in itself.
Yeah. So, I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know the status of Chase, but I just think Center's offense is going to be too much. I think this is going to be another basketball game played on turf Friday night. So,
you know where that basketball game can be found, Kyle?
I believe we could go to NetSN Live on YouTube and watch that entire game, right?
Yeah, you can.
Perfect.
So that basketball game or football game will be on our network, so everyone can tune in. Okay, Corey Vince.
I like both these teams. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, no defense. And when you think about it that way, there's no reason for me not to pick Center. They're averaging like 66 points or something like that, 60-something points a game. It's crazy. 80 points against Tatum. Like, I'm still stuck on that. Like, who does that? So
I hadn't seen an 80-pointer in forever.
Like, think about this. I said this to somebody else. One of my buddies called me, and we was talking about that. I said, when was the last time you saw somebody score 80? And I was thinking, I was like, growing up, if somebody would have scored 80 on you, Like you would
He was
never
fighting.
live that down. Like you would never live that down. That would be what you would be remembered for. Is that somebody scored 80 on you? And I think there was another school that had 80. Somebody won like 82 to 80 or something like that.
Mm.
I can't remember who that was though. He told me. And so like I've seen 3 different teams score 80 points this year already. It's crazy.
Corey?
Front and center. Center
Mm.
Rough Riders. Center Rough Riders take it. Although I think it may be close. Dangerfield's one of those teams. Dangerfield's like, I don't discredit athletic teams because they always can make you nervous. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Tatum's always athletic. At any point in time they can start 5-5. They can start 5-5 and then win the next 7 games because they're just more athletic than the other teams in the district. It just depends on who they play. They always play up in their classification, same up above their classification. Same thing with Dangerfield. They just find teams to compete against. So that's a hard team to play against if you're center. Now, do I think center's going to win by a lot? I think center's going to win by a substantial margin. I think it was a close game last year, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Sinners should win at least by 21 points. It's going to be a tough game for them, but I think Sinners rolling. Now, when me saying 21 points, it may be 71 to 50. you know, but 21
Mm-hmm.
points is 21 points. But I think I'm picking Center.
All right. Game 4.
Across the board.
Sabine, Mount Vernon. Guys, Sabine with their win over Wascom last week. That was one of our pick'em games. They're having off to a good start this year, 2-1. Mount Vernon is maybe a quiet 3-0. We haven't talked about Mount Vernon a whole lot this year. They've kind of flown on the radar, but they're just going about their business and taking care of everyone on their schedule. For me, I just think I know Sabine's improved, but I don't think they're at Mount Vernon level right now. I'm going to go with Mount Vernon over Sabine.
Yeah, I think Mount Vernon is kind of dealing with the same thing that we're seeing at other places, losing coaches, because Coach Kellen Carroll, now the head coach over in Hawkins, was the OC for Mount Vernon. So, but they're good. They're 3-0. So I think they're doing well without him. Sabine, impressed by him, but we just talked about Wascom, who lost to Redwater earlier in the year. I don't think Wascom is as strong. So if we go back to the schedule comparison, I don't think Sabine has played the toughest teams like Mount Vernon has had a little tougher non-district schedule. So I think they're the better football team. I'm taking the Purple Tigers of Mount Vernon.
Derek will be happy with our pick.
I'm on. I have no reason to do this other than the fact that I'm not finna pick what Brett picked.
How is that working for you, man?
Okay,
It's a slow process, but it is a process.
It's a slow process of reversed for you in the standings.
You just have to trust the process. That's all. So I'm gonna go with Sabine. Please, please, Sabine.
Corey?
Don't say please. He said please.
Please, Sabine.
He's begging him for a win. Look at him. He's begging him. Corey, who you going with?
I'm picking Mount Vernon by a slim margin. I think Sabine's a lot better than what we give them credit. Well, let me say this. I think Sabine's going to play up. This is going to be that peak game. Every coach wants that peak game in the season. This is where you're trying to test your team out a little bit. This is that game for Sabine. Like, okay, who are we really? If we can beat Mount Vernon, we compete against Mount Vernon, maybe we'll be all right. This is that game. You know what I'm saying? So they may come out. It could be a 31-28 game. But I think Mount Vernon's just they've played in too many tough games, and to lose this game against a team that's newly good. I won't say newly good. That's Sabine's kind of came out of left field. Let's just be honest, right? But nonetheless, I think Mount Vernon is going to take this game not by a large amount, but by a slim amount. I think they'll take it. I'm picking Mount Vernon.
All right. Game 5. The ARP Tigers taking on Tenaha. This is an interesting matchup. You got two teams that are playing well this season. Tenaha is currently 3-0. And you got ARP at 2-1. they bounced back after losing to Garrison. They were able to take care of Carlisle last week at a pretty handy margin, and that game was not over. They called it, so it could have gotten worse. ARP's looking good right now. I have no reason to go against them this week. I think they're gonna give Tenaha their first loss of the season here.
I'm torn on this one. The Battle of the Tigers. Tenaha, man, they got that 1-point win against West Sabine, then they beat San Augustine and they beat Joaquin by 8. Art beat Joaquin. This is a tough one for me. I'm back and forth. And before I just heard your little soliloquy, I was gonna go with Tenaha. I think you might have swayed me to ARP. And here's how I'm gonna pick. ARP's a Nettis in school. I'm taking ARP.
All right, hey, there we go. There we go.
I see what you did there. Okay. All right.
I'm basing this off of how they both play Joaquin, and so I'm gonna go with ARP.
Okay.
It's just that simple. Ain't got nothing else, no razzle dazzle to that, and just ARP.
Corey, and I think I know where you're going to go.
I'm picking Tenaha.
Coach Sneaky, Big Dog's on the phone here. Yes. You want to talk to Corey? Oh, here.
I'm going 10-0 this week. I'm telling you, I'm going 10-0. Listen, I hope ARP does well. I really do. I'm picking solely off of the now. Do I think the game is going to be close? Yes, I think the game is going to be close. But I'm picking Tenaha. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Game 6, North Mesquite, Tyler High. Guys, I'm going to be the first to admit last week I didn't believe in Tyler High, and I picked against him. That was one of my misses. Coach Woods, I'm sorry. I apologize, and I'm not making that mistake this week. I am going with Tyler High and win over North Mesquite.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one for me. I think Tyler High is rolling right now. I think they have they've hit their kind of sweet spot right now, and North Mesquite is not having a good year. They've got one win. It was a 3-point win over South Garland. Tyler High. Cujo.
I'm going with Tyler High. I've been riding it, so yeah, I'm staying on that wave. Yeah, Tyler High all the way.
Yeah, I'm rocking with Tyler High. I just think, that win over Legacy kind of springboarded them a little bit. A lot of people didn't think they were going to beat North Mesquite, or Mesquite Horn. I'm sorry,
Mesquite Horn. Yeah,
and Horn's not bad, but after a while, you start, and that's what I was saying last week. You give an mental inferior team confidence that's physically, athletically capable of winning, and next thing you know, hey, we believe. The power of belief is a strong thing. And hey, next thing you know, you could be 4-0. They could be top 10 class 5A.
I mean, to be honest with you, like the way they playing right now, it's possible they may not have a loss until they get to Longview. Possibly.
Well, they also have Lufkin.
But they have to be careful. Yeah, they got to be careful. I mean, Lufkin is good, but I think the way, the thing about Tyler High, and I ain't gonna harp on it, is that I felt like they were good last year. They just quit a lot of times, and a lot of that has to do with the locker room, and I think having this new coach come in, he's been able to reach these kids, and they're playing for him, and they're really putting out
and winning help
4
too.
quarters worth of. Yeah.
I mean,
4 quarters worth of.
You get a couple of W's in there, and it's like, okay, now the train's rolling.
And not only just dubs, but like close ones. Like that first one was, 5 overtimes.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Imagine what that does to your confidence.
They're facing adversity in these games too. They're not just blowing teams out. They're having to come back or fight through the games, and that shows a lot of fight and character.
The rivalry game, you had to come back from 14-0. So
yeah. Some of those games last year, they probably could have done that if they didn't,
if they just didn't give up on it. But I think the coaching staff has done a good job at keeping their heads in the game, and that's making a difference. I mean, they've always had athletes. So
the hard part
some of the hardest parts about, when you have a program, the hardest part is getting the kids to buy in, right?
Yeah.
Physical,
Yeah.
you can train a kid. Hey, he's going to the weight room. They gonna train. They gonna get bigger and better regardless. You gotta,
Yeah.
if you just put in work. You know what I'm saying? But having them buy in mentally and believe that they can win games, and then once you tell them that they can win games and they start winning games, all of a sudden everything just kind of starts going together. And it's, we can win games. We're bigger than they are.
That's
We're stronger than them. We're
that's
just
what.
stronger than them. We're faster. And the next thing you know, oh my gosh, you're 8-2. You know what I'm saying? You
I
you stole a game on the road. Hey, it's scary, bro.
Corey, that's when them Cujo jerseys come out again.
It's like you start getting that rabbit cough.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
when they start calling. Yeah, the Tyler Lions. That name goes away. They start calling them
yeah, it's
Cujo after a while.
what is this? What is it? They got the Cujo jerseys. I know. Like I said before, man. East Texas football is great when you go in the playoffs and you see the Cujo jerseys or you see the Cujo flag. I ain't seen the Cujo flag in a long time. So,
all right. So we're all in agreement that we think Tyler Howe's going to win this week. Game 7, Hallsville Kilgore. Kyle's going to love this. Why I picked the team I picked. Kilgore, because they were so close to Carthage. I just think they're a really good team now, and I just think that they're gonna. He's looking at me. No, I think Kilgore showed gut and grit. They came back and were able to finish off Gilmer in the last play of the game with a field goal. They beat a tough Pine Tree team, according to Corey. I do think Pine Tree's improved, so I think that win is a better win than it has been in years past. I think in years past, Kilgore probably wins 35-40-0. So props to Pine Tree. I think they're improving. Their test is going to be when they get to district, and it's going to be some of those teams that are all really close. I think like you got Marshall, you've got Pine Tree, you've got Hallsville. Like there's a lot of good teams in that district that every week one of those teams could beat anybody. So I think that district's going to be very interesting. But for this game, I think Kilgore is just still too good. I think they're going to take care of Hallsville.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kilgore, but not for the exact same reason you did. You said because they were close to Carthage. That's not why I'm taking Kilgore.
I threw that in just for you, Kyle.
I'm taking Kilgore because they did beat Gilmer and they did beat Pine Tree. And so I think they're the better team. I do think Kilgore's got a really, really good football team. We say it every week. I think this District of Doom is going to come down to Kilgore and Chapel Hill, final week of the regular season. Yeah. So I'm going Kilgore.
All right.
Well, a big family reunion down the street.
Yeah, I'm going Kilgore, man. Kilgore is tough to beat. They got a very strong defense. They don't really score a lot of points, but it seems like they don't have to. So, yeah, Kilgore all the way.
Kilgore struggles on offense. This is good. Let's go and say it. I mean, what the most points they scored was 27. And I'm saying they struggle on offense. They scored 27 points. But defensively, they got it all together. So, they can stop teams. And this is the thing about it, man. As long as you can stop teams from scoring, it doesn't matter what you do on offense. You still gonna win the game. You can blank somebody and win. 3 points, it doesn't matter. Your team is good. So maybe the offense will get it together. It's not like they have the lack of athletes. That's definitely not the case. But I think they'll beat Hallsville. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going. I'm picking Kilgore. Their defense is stout. It may be probably the best defensive team in East Texas right
now. All right. Game 8, White House, Henderson. White House has kind of had a resurgence over the last few weeks. They started slow, had some issues in the locker room with some players, but here lately they've kind of come on and last week's game, they really handed it to Jacksonville. We talked about, I think Jeremy was saying how Jacksonville's still struggling, and I think they are, but I kind of turned on that game a little bit and just watched the start, and they just took it from them from the opening kick. Like right off the bat, they went down and just punched and scored. I was impressed with what I saw, and I think Henderson's still trying to find themselves. I think they're improved, but they're not at White House's level right now, so I'm going with White House.
Yeah, I think White House is starting to hit their little streak too after that little fumble in week 1. We know why they had a couple kids out, but I think they're kind of finding their groove right now, and Henderson's still trying to find themselves. They're still in a little bit of rebuild mode. So, yeah, I'm taking the dub for the dub.
I'm going to go with White House. White House is rolling. They figured it out. So, yeah, White House, easy.
I'm not gonna say easy. I think Henderson's compete. I'm gonna give him that. I think I think Henderson's gonna. I don't say they're gonna make it a game, but I think Henderson's gonna put up a bigger fight than we think they are. Obviously, I think White House is gonna win the game. But White House may sneak out of there by 14 points. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Henderson may find a way to scratch and claw their way, but it's going to me. I feel like this game is going to be an interesting game. I almost picked Henderson with an upset, but I'm not that crazy. But I just have a feeling this game is going to be a lot more competitive than what we think it is. But I'm picking White House.
All right. Game 9, Gilmer, Lindale. Two teams that have been powerhouses around the area the last few years, but have struggled early. Gilmer's, lost a couple games and they struggled with Paris. You had Lindale that beat Kaufman in a return match, but then lost to rival Van last week. Kyle, I guess, can give us some good insight because he was there. But I'm looking at the two teams right now, and just from what I've seen, I know that the Lindale lost to Pine Tree. We know Pine Tree they're better, so I don't think it's as bad loss as we would have a few years ago. But I'm just thinking what Gilmer's played versus what Lindale's played. Their schedule's stronger and they've competed, and it's in Gilmer. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes to bounce back and even their record at 2-2.
I think I said this in our preseason when we were picking polls and stuff and talking about teams, and how I said Lindale's going to have a good team. I'm worried about their defense. Their defense worries me. And through the first 3 weeks, the defense has been the weak spot for the Eagles. Even last week with Van, they could match Van's physicality. They couldn't keep up with Van. Van was outrunning them. Now, Lindale had some speed on offense as well, but defensively in the secondary, they got some tall guys back there, but they don't have the speed that other teams have, I don't think, just from watching. So because of that, and seeing Gilmer week 1 with speed everywhere, I think Gilmer will win this game over Lindale. But if you're a Lindale Eagle fan, I don't think you need to sound the alarm just yet, because the losses that you have, a very good Van team, Pine Tree is improved, and if you lose to Gilmer, another very good team. What worries me, though, is that they were up big on Kaufman, and Kaufman came back. That's why it was such a high-scoring game. So, again, defense just worries me for Lindale, and Gilmer's offense is powerful. So, because of that, I'm taking the Buckeyes.
Yeah, Mr. Red Zone is right. Lindale's defense is suspect, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Gilmer on this one. I think Gilmer's gonna drop 50 on them, and yeah. Sorry, I'm writing it down.
Track meet. I'm picking Gilmer. I don't think Gilmer's going to let this one go. I've watched Lindale a couple times. Probably the best offensive line in East Texas by size wise. And then they're just anchored. I mean, if you've seen them, they are massive. I mean, they are massive. The Lindale quarterback, he is an athlete, man, and I feel sorry for him because it's like, man, you can just tell like he tries hard. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. It's just I really think that the athleticism of Gilmer and the speed of Gilmer, and in the fact that they're 1-3 at this point, I think they're kind of 1-2 at this point. I think they're kind of pissed off. And they know they didn't play a good game against Paris, and you have a team that's struggling coming in. So if you're a coach, you got a 1-2 team coming in. So hey guys, we can right the ship this week. Who's going to take it? Because Lindale can. I'm not saying they can easily win the game, but Lindale can win the game. And you're looking at the Gilmer. Hey, we can win the game, but who's gonna right the ship and get back to 500? So, but I think Gilmer It's a home game for Gilmer. I think the home crowd will feed off of that. But this is going to be one of the better matchups in East Texas right now, regardless of the score. This could propel both of those teams to kind of make a run. But I'm picking Gilmer.
All right, and game 10, game of the week here. I think as far as the program wise, the matchup, and
No,
Kyle,
you're right. It is the red zone game of the week. You
and
had it right.
Kyle can attest to that. That's where Kyle will be this week. Longview Lufkin. This is an interesting one. Longview that lost early. They've won back-to-back games. Lufkin doing what Lufkin normally does. They're 3-0 right now, so just chipping along on their schedule. This could be a trajectory game on, I think, more for Lufkin, what we're going to see from them. I think we know what Longview has, but I think for me, I want to know where Lufkin's at right now. This game will tell a lot about where they are, not necessarily if they win or lose. I just want to see how they compete versus what Longview has right now. I just think Longview is just a better team in this game, and I think they're going to win. My main thing I'm watching for is how Lufkin competes. If they compete up there and they play Longview tough, then I think, okay, so Lufkin and Tyler High game, that may be a really good matchup. Now if they get beat, then maybe Tyler High, and we see how they compete against Longview, because I'm interested to see how these three teams kind of set up. And I'm hoping that all three of them make the playoffs this year, because we need some more East Texas teams in that 5A classification doing some damage in the playoffs. But for me, this is more a trajectory game. I think Longview just has too much talent with Tatum and company. So I'm going to go with Longview.
Real quickly before we get into that. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything. Never mind. Just watching the Cowboys game.
I figured that's what you were doing because I kept turning my head. And when I turned back, I saw your head turn. And I was like, we got to be watching the game.
Anyway, so I won't spoil that. Back to the game, though. The Longview Lufkin. Longview, after that first game, they're kind of rolling now. And Lufkin is 3-0, but they haven't had the toughest of non-district schedules to begin the season. I think this game will be close in the first half, and then I think Longview pulls away in the second half. It's going to be a good matchup, though. It's very intriguing with these two schools, Longview at 2-1 and Lufkin 3-0. Lufkin's running back Kendra Miller going to Notre Dame next year, and then Longview's running back Taylor Tatum going to Oklahoma next year. So a couple of D1 running backs in the game. Should be a very fun matchup, but I think Longview's got too many Lobos in their back pocket, and I think they'll pull out the win over the Panthers.
Yeah, man, this is Longview's game to lose. I know it's kind of a clash of rivalry of some sort, but it's Longview. Longview is slated to win state. Obviously you got to get there. I don't see Longview having a problem here. I'm going Longview.
It's a battle of the L's. The battle of the L's.
The L's that won a W.
Yeah, L's. Yeah, the standard L's or the traditional, whatever. I don't know. As much as I want to pick, Lufkin with the upset, I'm just looking at the schedule. They gave up 28 points to Nacogdoches.
Powerhouse Nacogdoches.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, they hadn't just really just dominated. But then again, Longview. So I'm not that crazy. I'm picking Longview to win the game. But this is one of those games. If it's close, Lufkin can kind of pat themselves on the back a little bit. This 21-17, you know what I'm saying, and not 57-0. This could be a game where we can kind of build off. I know you're gonna build off of a loss, you know what I'm saying, but you kind of, we play tough, you know what I'm saying, and you kind of want to build off of that momentum or build off of that some good things that you did. So, but hey, there's something to look at. But it's Longview.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of things to look forward to this week. We've got Wednesday night. The four of us will be back talking about last week's games in the weekly wrap-up show. A lot of good things to talk about. Some upsets we didn't expect, and a lot of things happening. We'll also reveal our latest polls on the weekly wrap-up show. We'll discuss those, and I'm sure we'll get to hear from Vince about his Beckville squad this week. So if you want to hear it, tune in Wednesday night, and I know he's got a lot to say about that one.
Nah, I just want to
do too.
clarify.
I do too.
I just want to clarify because it was a whole conversation about why I put them in my poll, and yeah.
Well, I got some news and info on Harmony as well. So
okay.
Look forward to Wednesday.
Just dropping that out there. So make sure you guys tune in Wednesday night. We'll have some games for you this Friday. Vince and I will be in Chapel Hill for Chapel Hill's homecoming against Nacogdoches. We'll be on the call for that one. Kyle, like he said, will be doing the Longview Lufkin game. He'll be on the sideline getting some great footage and videos, and check his stuff out on YouTube. He's got some good stuff. Every week he goes to a game. He's got some great highlights out there. So check out Kyle's stuff on YouTube and Twitter. We'll also have the Center Dangerfield game on our network. Our buddies from Center will be covering that one. So lots of good stuff going on this week with NSN. You guys got anything before we wrap up here?
Fly Eagles fly.
Oh man, here we go. And football season
and the Longhorns.
Football season in full tilt. The Longhorns got the win this weekend,
finally.
So in good spirits. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week's Power Plus Mouth Guard Beast from the East show. For Kyle, Vince, and Corey, I'm Brett. We'll catch you next week right here on the Northeast Texas Sports Network. See ya.
Cowboys trash.